Jackie, I'm going to turn things over to you.
Thank you, Kyle. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Wilson, the Leadership Training Specialist, and on behalf of Designated Officer Vice President Kelly Short and our Leadership Development Coordinator, Mary Sotomayor, I'd like to welcome you to our third webinar for the 2023-2024 year. Have fun with art and literacy programs. Before we get started, I'd like to share some news about our new Leadership Training Award. First thing is that you should attend at least 6 of our leadership webinars, and that could be live as you are today or by viewing them on our website. All of our webinars are being recorded and will be posted on the website for you to view at any time on the leadership tab of the New York State PTA website. Second is to soak up the knowledge that you receive. And third is to apply what you've learned and show how you've used that in your unit, council, or district in learning to become a better leader. Once you've completed these steps, you'll unlock the path to our exclusive Leadership Development Award and pin. It's not just a pin, but a badge of honor that says you're a rock star leader among our PTAs. During this workshop, we'll briefly stop to ask a question of Nicole regarding arts and literacy. A very simple question based on the information she's giving us tonight. Sometime after the workshop, you'll be sent an email asking you what the answer to the question was and how you've implemented that information in your unit, council, or district. And as always, our webinars are available, as I said, on the website. So feel free that if you've forgotten what the question is or you don't remember, you can always go back and view it. We always take our questions at the end, and please remember to put those in the chat box. And at the end, Nicole will address any and all of your questions. And now I'd like to introduce our presenter, Nicole Peretta. Nicole is currently the New York PTA Programs Coordinator. And in her district of New Hartford, New York, she serves as the New Hartford SEPSA Secretary and the Robert E. Myers President. So Nicole, welcome.
Thank you, Jackie. I hope everyone is doing fantastic tonight. I am so excited to be here and to share all of this with you. I'm gonna make sure that I can access my controls, and here we go. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the importance of arts and literacy and how to make it fun and exciting for students and families and all of the communities. It should not, just be another project. It should spark joy in our kids. Creativity and imagination are important aspects of life, and we really want to support that. So I'm going to leave this slide here just for a minute, take a moment, give that a look. This kind of shapes what our conversation will be tonight. Leave it up for just a couple more seconds. Okay, so why are the arts so important? So working in the arts helps our learners to develop creative problem-solving skills. It teaches our kids to that visual arts learners are about color and layout, perspective and balance. They're all techniques that are necessary in presentations. Teaching through the arts can present difficult concepts visually, making them easier for some to understand. Arts experiences boost critical thinking, teaching students to take the time to be more careful and thorough in how they observe the world. The arts provide challenges for our learners at all levels. Art instruction helps children with the development of motor skills, language skills, social skills, decision-making, risk-taking, and inventiveness. Art education connects students with their own culture, as well as with the wider world. When we talk about arts education, our arts education increases student engagement. The arts provide many opportunities for students to demonstrate their skills through authentic performance. The arts also enable children to grow in confidence and learn how to think positively about themselves. And learning the arts also helps learning matter to students by giving them a medium to connect with the material, a little better. Children learn positive habits, behaviors, and attitudes through engaging in art education. When schools integrate the arts across the curriculum, disciplinary referrals decrease while effectiveness of instruction increases. Learning a musical instrument, creating a painting, learning to dance, or singing in a chorus, teaching us that taking small steps, practicing to improve, being persistent, can pay off for kids. Arts education helps foster a positive culture and climate in schools, and it's important for children's growth and improvement. Art also enhances creativity. It helps students sharpen critical intellectual skills. Arts teach methods for learning language skills. They help students learn mathematics. They expand on and enrich learning in other subjects. And arts education increases the capacity for leadership, which is one of my very favorite things that we can instill in our children. Moving along. So art and culture bring communities together. They're an excellent source of wisdom and offer intellectual and emotional experiences which promote either contemplation or celebration. Both culture and art are two wonderful ways of preserving or strengthening a strong community, sense of place, forging a personal identity, and showing your creativity. Art and culture boast multiple opportunities for learning, entertainment, leisure, personal growth, improving communication with others. Art and culture aid in building social capital, supporting vibrant communities, and lifting up new ones. This capital thrives with regular participation in a variety of art and cultural events. What is literacy? Literacy is most commonly defined as the ability to read and write, but it's not as simple as it sounds. Reading and writing abilities vary across different cultures and contexts, and these two are constantly shifting. Nowadays, reading encompasses complex visual and digital media, as well as printed material. An elderly person who can read the newspaper might struggle to get information from Google. Similarly, different cultures will have different perceptions of literacy. The writing traditions of the English language make reading comprehension an essential part of literacy, but this might not be as important in cultures or groups that rarely need printed material. At its simplest, literacy is the way that we interact with the world around us, how we shape it and are shaped by it, how we communicate with others via reading and writing, but also by speaking, listening, and creating. It's how we articulate our experience in the world. Why is literacy important? Students need literacy in order to engage with the written word in everyday life. Think about how often you use your own reading skills in everyday life. It's not just articles that require literacy, but signs, labels, and the messages on your phone too. The same goes for writing. Even phone calls have given way to instant messaging and text-based communication, making the ability to read all that more important. But beyond the functional level, literacy plays a vital role in transforming students into socially engaged citizens. Being able to read and write means being able to keep up with current events, communicate effectively, and understand the issues that are shaping our world. So that leads to this slide, which is ways to support literacy development. So we want to encourage reading. Reading is the first pillar of literacy, so encourage young learners to immerse themselves in it frequently and deeply. This should involve exposure to a broad variety of genres, newspapers, novels, comics, magazines. The sky's the limit. Discuss text together. Actively discussing what has been read encourages learners to make connections and think deeply about ideas contained in what they read. Use games and activities that support literacy development. You can write a half a page story, describe a person or object with as many adjectives as you can think of. You can do an information scavenger hunt. You can scour the web to find facts on a given topic. You can do a recap of a plot of a novel. There are a myriad ways to do this. And then, of course, make use of your local library, because they have a plethora of resources that are at your disposal. So when we talk about all of these things, one of the biggest things that we're going to have to do, or that we should want to do, is engaging our families. So in order to fully engage families in our community, it is important to build strategic partnerships and leverage community resources. Establish and maintain partnerships with businesses, faith-based organizations, and community agencies. Identify support from various agencies, including mental and physical health providers. Partner with local community-based organizations to create a family-friendly transition plan for students arriving from early childhood settings. Communicate short and long-term program goals to all stakeholders. Provide and facilitate referrals to family support or educational groups based on family interests and needs. Identify partners to provide translators and culturally relevant resources reflective of home language. So other ideas that we can utilize here, we can host a meet and greet. We can identify bilingual members of the community. We can create a welcoming, inclusive community space. A family directory is a fantastic idea. Promoting families' understanding of different cultures and encouraging families to set up mutual support. Matching families with similar interests, goals, or challenges. Providing opportunities for them to have ongoing connections and host events that bring families together. So when we talk about some ideas that we can do to kind of get kids excited about these programs and get families engaged and communities engaged in what we're doing, we can talk about hosting workshops with a library or a craft or a local artisan or art teacher on different art mediums in the Reflections program. So you want to be a film director, you want to be, local artisan. We've got a nice kind of wool workshop that we do locally, which works for a lot of kids. It's tactile and it's fantastic. So anything that you can do to kind of engage people in that regard is a good thing. And of course, who doesn't love a good award? Make sure that whatever program you're doing, award the kids. They love prizes, even if it's a certificate or some stickers or their photo taken and displayed as a participant or a winner, a PowerPoint of the artwork, display cases in the front of your building, in the local library, anything like that, to recognize the children's achievement with what they were able to accomplish while participating in the program that you have carefully designed. I personally love to be recognized for my efforts, and so I know it's doubly true for our students. Okay, so here are some other ideas that we can use with regards to having community support. In one community, a local diner created a special milkshake around the theme of our literacy program. It could be done for a sandwich or a meal. You could draw support to struggling businesses while you do this as well. So this is one of those things that, you could have kiddos participate in this and create community around it, which just, furthers the engagement that you're able to create. Helps if you click on the right slide, Nicole. Okay. You could see if a local shop of donuts or ice cream or pizza, they might offer an incentive for the kids to participate in your art or literacy program, and they might give the kids a reward for that in that way, which again is always, always, always popular with the kids. I don't know if anybody else's local library does this, but mine sure does. And it is the highlight of the year for the kiddos that are able to participate in this. But they create a display in the front of their, in the front of the library in a glass case. And the kids' arts are displayed there, and parents proudly parade into the library. They take pictures with their kids' art, and the kids are beaming from having their stuff displayed. And it's just a wonderful partnership that we are able to create, you know, to make these kids feel recognized and special and like they know what they're doing. You can, it's been my experience with our local librarians, and I don't imagine it's a unique experience, that they are always willing to get kids involved in reading and literacy. So having them dressed as characters from favorite children's books, I guarantee will go over very well. And then always, always, always encourage your children to get their library card, and, you know, show that they have participated. So you can partner with local businesses as well. You can do window paintings that follow the theme of your event. You can see if local stores will let you hang some of the kids' art in the stores. You can do a scavenger hunt that involves tickets given to families. And you can do prizes that way. And again, this builds on, you know, including the community, in building community, and also showcasing the kids, which just kind of benefits everybody. So in partnering with your library and community, you can host a baby Comic-Con, which will also engage our middle and high school students, which I know some of us struggle with. It's a tough thing to get some of our older kiddos engaged and involved. You can partner with your school and local library in that regard, and invite local authors and artists. Tonight, before the webinar began, I was able to share with Jackie that our elementary school very recently reached out to a relatively popular author of elementary school aged books, and he is thrilled to try to come up with a partnership or even visit our school to keep the kids invested and excited about reading. And we at my home PTA are absolutely thrilled about that, but that's not a unique experience to us. You can absolutely do that. Just reach out. A lot of artists and local authors and authors in general really just want to share their craft and get kids excited about what is going on. So write the email, you know, write the letter, ask away, because you never know, you might end up with something super positive for the kids. So this is one of my very, very, very favorite things. If you can get the kids involved in your students' lives, like principals, coaches, teachers, news anchors, anybody that they're going to recognize. In my hometown, we have a couple of semi-professional sports teams. So those members, anything like that, if you can get them to talk about their favorite books or visit your local elementary schools and read to the kids, and talk to them about how very exciting it is, or what their favorite part is, or whatever positive thing that they can say, it goes a long, long, long way. One of my very favorite memories is we had a local semi-professional hockey team come in and read a Pete the Cat book to one of our classrooms. That book was the most popular book that year. And it was just a simple gesture of these young men that they were, you know, able and kind enough to do. And it really went a long way towards keeping those kids engaged and excited about reading. So this stuff really does work. If you can get your principal to do it, a favorite teacher, anything like that. Now, these are super fun things that we are able to share with you. These are days that you can utilize. I'll leave that up there for just a second. And we have a few more coming. And there are many days like this. You can pick whatever you would like to do and get these kids engaged. Use everything that you can do. And here's the latter half of the year. And again, you can use any of these. There's many more that you can pick from. Anything that you can do to get these kids engaged and excited about literacy, about reading, about arts and culture will just enhance their education. November is a particular favorite of mine because it's National Novel Writing Month, and I know a lot of adults participate in that, but kids can too. And the last thing that we're going to talk about tonight are monthly themes for arts. So you can choose a category for each month and invite students to create works of art related to the theme. Students could create the art at home and submit pictures of it to you, or you could have an art night at school. Check with your families to see if anybody is a professional that they would be willing to donate their time or their skills. You can also see if you could, make this a family bonding event as well, inviting in a local professional to show you how to do things, or you could, have the kids engage in this and then have a night where everybody can come and see what they were able to do. So these are really good ways to get everybody involved. And I want to just say thank you for everybody for coming out tonight and listening. I deeply appreciate that, and I sincerely hope that you are able to come up with some arts and literacy programs of your own to get your kids invested in these programs and in all of this. And if anybody needs anything with regards to our arts and literacy programs in New York State PTA, please feel free to reach out. My email is on your screen.
Nicole, I need to interrupt for a minute just to see if we can come up with an answer to the question of the webinar. Okay, so our question, as I mentioned earlier, will be asked as part of our Leadership Development Award. And the one question I would like you to answer for us is, can you give us some ways that we can support literacy development?
Absolutely, I would be very happy to do that. Some ways that you can support literacy development are by encouraging reading, discussing text together, using games and activities that support literacy development, and the last one is my favorite, and it's make use of your local library.
So there is our question for the webinar. And again, if you didn't remember it or didn't write it down, it is available on the recording. One comment that I would like to make, and Nicole certainly put this forth in her presentation, your libraries are no longer just books on shelves. And it's so important that you invite your local librarian or certainly your school librarian to come in to your PTA meeting and give that information to your parents, especially if you have a very diverse community. Your public library is astounding with what they have and the programs that they have available for students, not only throughout the year, but throughout the summer, not only for young people where they have a reading over the summer, but the older children who can be the persons that the kids read to. And that's a great thing for them as well. And all of these things that Nicole talked about are part and parcel of our Reflections program, which, as we know, is begun already. And all of the categories that she spoke about with art and literacy have the advantage of being able to be used in the Reflections program. And we just recently, New York State, held our Reflections ceremony for the award winners in New York State. And it's just incredible to see how talented all of these young people are, from kindergarten up through high school. And we usually end up having some national winners as well, which we did this last year. So certainly arts will be something that kids can use for life. But I always say this at my PTA meetings is, you know, encourage your unit to have a librarian come in and just talk a little bit about what there is to do at the library. And so many of we have many BOCES, library BOCES throughout the state, and they have constantly information for the librarians, programs for the librarians to keep them updated on everything new and available for not only this for the schools, as well as multiple language books and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Do we have any questions in the chat for Nicole?
Jackie, I did get a question. Nicole, there was a question that came to me on, is there a certain month that you have to have your Pick a Reading Partner program, or can you have it all school year long?
You can have it all school year long, and that's a fantastic question. We just encourage that you run one. Our PARP program has a fantastic framework, and it's really very effective in getting kids excited to read. So please don't feel like you are stuck to 1 month. Any month out of the school year that fits within the framework of what you're doing at your school is fantastic by us.
And we
Would
got
anyone-
another question, Jackie, on Reflections. The question that we got was, should you be working with your school art teacher on Reflections programs or home-based Reflections programs, or how does that work?
So you can do this you can do this several ways. Reflections is a fantastic program that you can run in a myriad of ways. So locally, we have a couple of schools that run it by sending information home to the families. The students send the artwork and or literacy pieces back, and then we kind of forward them on to New York State as per procedure. But we have a couple of schools that utilize the Reflections program in their arts classrooms so that everybody participates and everybody gets the benefit of it. So you can run it either way. Either way is super positive for kids. And it's just a really very good thing to expose them to. But yes, please partner with your art teacher, because they are the experts and they know how to get kids excited and engaged, and you should take a page out of their book.
And, you know, how would you, Nicole, suggest involving the parents? Because, you know, okay, the art teacher is starting this. What's one of the best ways to involve the parents in any of these art programs, or to encourage them? You know, they all always want to go out for sports or swimming, and the arts doesn't always seem to take, you know, a front and center. So how would you kind of encourage them, or what can you do to encourage parents with the arts with their students?
So I think it's a fantastic example that you just gave about the sports, because you're right. What do? We have ticker tape parades, and we've got all kinds of manner of things, right? So treat it the same. Treat it absolutely the same. So what we do locally with a couple of our schools in my region is we treat it like a really big celebration. We invite parents. We put it out on our local community message thing. It's called Parent Square, that we use for our school, but I'm sure you guys have something similar in your districts. Use that. Talk about these kids like we talk about kids that are doing sports, which I'm not taking anything from kids that do sports. Everybody has a skill, and it's fantastic. But if we can celebrate the arts in that way and get everybody excited and put the same messaging out and really celebrate these kids in that way, that's how we can get everybody engaged and excited to celebrate kids reading, kids, you know, painting, you know, making movies. The creativity that I have seen with some of these kids as they make movies and they make music and they make paintings has been absolutely mind-blowing. And I want everybody to be able to share in that. So we should just be as excited as possible and put as much communication out as possible so that these kids get recognized as well.
And I think also a good point is to make sure that your district, your principal, your superintendent, your Board of Education members
Yeah.
are also excited about this. And as I know in my district, one of the things that they would always have is recognition at the Board of Education meeting for those students in the community that were able to receive awards at the region level or the state level, and just having them come up to the front of the room and receive a certificate and be recognized is just a wonderful way. We all know kids love getting trophies, and why not this recognition for a fantastic piece of artwork or literature or music that they've done as well. And we have to kind of encourage that. I mean, think of how many things you could not do if you couldn't read. And I think that's one of the most important pieces here. And certainly, I'm struck by just something interesting that I read. There's a New York Mets player. His name is Alvarez. I can't think of his last name. But anyway, he is Hispanic. And he came to this country not knowing any English. And his goal in the short time he was here was that he wanted to be able to do an interview in English rather than have it translated by a Spanish speaker. And so he's worked on that to the point where he's able to do a very simple interview in English. And that was something that took a lot of work on his part to learn English. So I think things of that nature, especially when we're dealing with students of a different language or different culture, it's so important. They can express themselves with art, music, literature, no matter what language they speak. And I think that's why art and literacy crosses the barrier of cultures and any differences that we might see among our students, disabilities, and so on. And pretty much anyone can be a part of it. Do we have any other questions, or would anybody like to put something in the chat that they have found that's worked for them in either their literacy program or their arts program or reflections or some reward? Because I think Nicole gave us some great ideas about connections with the community and how you can use those to not only your benefit or the parents or the kids' benefit, but the community benefit as well. You know, hey, this pizza place is giving us free stickers, free a piece of pizza, or $5 off a pizza if we show that we, you know, participated in PARP or something like that. So I think that helps their business and it gives them kind of a one-up, if you will. They put a certificate in their window and they're local, you know, recognized by the local PTA. So there's a lot of ways to foster community involvement and community engagement that way as well.
Absolutely. We had a local sushi restaurant that partnered with us.
Sushi, see, that's
Yep.
a good one. I've not heard that one before, but as I said, I think the recognition piece is so important. And we can never forget, you know, you participate in a baseball, a softball, or whatever, everybody gets a trophy at the end, and ways that we recognize the students is very, very important as well for their art and their literacy.
Yes, it is.
Any other comments or questions or anything anybody would like to add? As I said, if anything they've done in their district to encourage or a successful program that they've had.
This is Kyle. I'll share something that our unit does. So each year for literacy, as a part of our PART program, we have I'll say like a read-in where actually all the students bring their sleeping bags and they come to our gymnasium and they have different mystery readers. So the mystery reader wears you know, like a Halloween mask and has a dress on, and the kids just love it. And all the kids there are there with their parents and their sleeping bags, and then all over the gymnasium floor. And then the mystery reader reads, and then the kids can kind of say, yay, and they're guessing who the mystery reader is, and they really get into it. And we usually have during that time, you know, free dinner. We're a reasonably poor rural school district, so we have free dinner for everybody there. So everybody comes, has dinner, and has all these mystery readers coming in. We usually have 5 or 6 mystery readers. Sometimes it's community members, police officers from the, sometimes it's legislators. It's a great way to make that legislative connection. And it's often teachers because they want to hear their teachers too. So it's kind of a unique way to engage, as Nicole said, family engagement and, you know, providing a meal for our families in our school districts with literacy.
And how many people don't watch The Masked Singer, right? I mean, right?
I
That's
know,
a very
right?
popular program, and that's a great idea. But I think the idea also of the community, members besides the board members, certainly, we don't, I think, as PTAs engage our school board members as much as we should be, but also our local legislators, who, would love to come in and just either do it as a guest reader or whatever, or guest presenter for awards. And it gives them a little PR, and they can go on the local news channel and show what they've done, and it highlights the school, it highlights the students. So all of that is encouragement here. And we have something from Amani. Says our elementary school invites a children's theater group that acts on stage stories written by, I assume it means the students. Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm sorry. Here it is. Students written by our young authors. They act 3 stories each year that are selected from submissions by students. It gets our young authors very excited about writing. Kids love to tell stories. I mean, they really do. And to put that down and then have it acted out by a local group. I'm sure many of us have community colleges in the areas where students love to perform. If they're theater students, they love to perform, act out some of the stories that some of the students have read or some of the students have written. And I think that goes a long way, again, to encourage not only the students, but also it helps the students who are studying theater to have more practice in their craft. So I think that's also another great idea. Anybody else would like to share with us today? Okay, Nicole, thank you very much for the presentation. Lots of great information. I hope we can all take that back to our units and councils and encourage the participation in the arts. As I mentioned before, this recording will be available on the website, and you will receive an email sometime in the future regarding the question of the webinar, as well as further information about our wonderfully new and exciting Leadership Development Award. So thank you all for attending. Our next webinar will be December 5th. That is going to be on advocacy. As always, we advertise on social media, so please look for a connection there. And also the PTA Connection that comes out to all members. There is always a link to the webinar that's upcoming in there as well. So thank you all and have a great night. And thank you again, Nicole, for your presentation. Good night, everyone.